The moment my mother slid the envelope across the Easter dinner table and smiled at my sister, my stomach dropped. I thought it was a joke. My trust fund. The one Grandma left for me. The one meant for my future. But then my father raised his glass and said something that made the entire room go silent. In that moment, I realized the people who raised me had just stolen my life and handed it to my sister like it was nothing. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because some betrayals change your life forever, and this one ended in a way my parents never saw coming. My name is Emilea, and I'm 29 years old. For most of my life, I believed my parents were fair people. Not perfect, but fair. My younger sister Chloe had always been the favorite, sure, but I told myself that was normal. She was louder, more dramatic, always demanding attention. I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who worked hard and stayed out of trouble. And according to my grandmother, that's exactly why she trusted me. My grandma, Evelyn, passed away when I was 23. She was the only person in my family who truly saw me. The one who always told me, Emilea, someday you're going to build a life no one can take from you. When her will was read, she left something behind for me. A trust fund. Not millions, but enough. Enough for a down payment on a house. Enough to help me start the small design studio I'd always dreamed about. Enough to finally build that independent life she wanted for me. The money was placed under the control of a trustee until I turned 30. At the time, I didn't question it. I trusted my parents. They were close to the trustee, a family attorney named Mr. Hargrove. I figured everything was secure. For 6 years, nothing seemed unusual. Until Easter. My parents insisted we all come home for dinner. My dad said it was important. My mom sounded strangely excited on the phone. When I walked into their house that afternoon, the air already felt off. The table was decorated like it was a holiday magazine shoot. Candles. Flowers. My sister Chloe sitting there with this smug little smile she couldn't hide. Halfway through dinner, my father stood up and tapped his glass. I have an announcement, he said. I remember smiling politely, assuming it was something boring. Maybe they were renovating the house again. Or taking another cruise. Then my mom pulled a white envelope from her purse and slid it across the table. Not to me. To Chloe. My sister opened it slowly, eyes shining like it was Christmas morning. Inside was a printed document. She gasped. Oh my God. Mom. Dad, are you serious? My heart started beating faster. What is it? I asked. My father turned to me calmly, like he was explaining the weather. Well, Emilea, your sister is ready to buy her first home. I blinked. That's great, I said carefully. Then he smiled. And we decided to help her. My mother leaned forward, her voice syrupy sweet. With your trust fund. For a second, I genuinely thought I misheard. My what? Chloe laughed softly, waving the document like a trophy. Grandma's money, she said. Well, it's technically yours. But Mom and Dad said it makes more sense for me to use it now. The room tilted. That trust was left to me, I said, my voice shaking. Grandma made that very clear. My father sighed like I was being difficult. Yes, but you're not 30 yet. The trustee technically controls it. And we explained the situation. My mother nodded. Family helps family, Emilea. I stared at them, waiting for someone to laugh. Waiting for someone to say it was a joke. No one did. You stole my future, I whispered. Chloe rolled her eyes. Oh please. You're being dramatic. Then she said the words that broke something inside me. You weren't even using the money anyway. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. 6 years of trust. 6 years of believing my family had my back. And they had been planning this. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor. You can't do this, I said. My father's expression hardened. It's already done. But that's when the front door opened. And a calm, unfamiliar voice spoke from behind me. Actually, no. It isn't. I turned around. And standing in the doorway was the trustee, Mr. Hargrove, holding a folder in his hand. And the look on his face told me something had just gone very, very wrong for my parents. The entire room went quiet when Mr. Hargrove stepped inside. My father's confident smile vanished instantly. "Richard, what are you doing here?" he asked, trying to sound casual, but I could hear the tension in his voice. Mr. Hargrove closed the door behind him slowly and walked toward the table, the folder still in his hand. His expression was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "I came because I received a very unusual request this morning," he said. My mother shifted in her chair. Chloe looked confused. "What request?" my dad asked. Mr. Hargrove placed the folder on the table and looked directly at me. "Your parents contacted my office asking me to release the full balance of your trust fund to your sister." The room fell silent again. I felt my hands shaking. "But the trust doesn't mature until I'm 30. "That's correct," he said. My father forced a laugh. "Well, we explained the situation. Emilea agreed to help her sister." My head snapped toward him. "I never agreed to that." Mr. Hargrove nodded slowly. "Yes, that's exactly the problem." He opened the folder. I found it strange that Emilea herself hadn't contacted me. So before making any decisions, I reviewed the trust agreement your mother signed with Mrs. Evelyn 6 years ago. My mother's face went pale. And that's when Mr. Hargrove said something that made my heart pound. "There's a clause in the trust that very few people know about." My father frowned. "What clause?" Mr. Hargrove turned a page and read calmly. "If any individual attempts to access, transfer, or manipulate the trust funds without Emelea's direct written consent, that action is considered financial misconduct." Chloe slowly lowered the document she was holding. "And my dad said." Mr. Hargrove looked him directly in the eyes. "And under the terms Mrs. Evelyn insisted on, that misconduct triggers an immediate investigation and permanent removal of that person from any involvement with the trust." My mother whispered, "That's ridiculous." But Mr. Hargrove wasn't finished. "There's more." He slid another paper across the table. "Because your parents attempted to falsely authorize a transfer, I was legally required to notify the trust's financial board." My father's face turned red. "You did what?" "The board reviewed the situation this afternoon," Mr. Hargrove continued calmly. "And they've already made their decision." My chest tightened. "What decision?" I asked quietly. He looked at me with a small smile. "Due to the attempted misuse of the funds, the board voted to release the trust early." My breath caught. "To you." The room exploded. "That's insane," my father shouted, standing up. My mother looked like she might faint. Chloe stared at me like she had just watched her winning lottery ticket burn. Mr. Hargrove calmly continued. "The full amount has already been transferred to Emelea's personal account this afternoon." For a moment, no one spoke. 6 years. 6 years of waiting. And suddenly, it was mine. My sister slammed the paper on the table. "You ruined everything," she snapped at me. I blinked in disbelief. "I ruined it?" I asked quietly. My father pointed at me angrily. "You could have helped your sister." That's when something inside me finally snapped. I looked around the table at the people who had just tried to steal my future, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Clarity. "No," I said softly. "I could have." I grabbed my purse and stood up. "But now, I won't." My mother's voice cracked. "Emilea, don't be like this. We're family." I looked at her for a long moment. And for the first time in my life, I realized something. Family isn't the people who raise you. It's the people who protect you. Grandma Evelyn had done that, even after she was gone. I walked toward the door. Behind me, I could hear my sister crying and my parents arguing with Mr. Hargrove, but I didn't stop. Outside, the cool night air hit my face. And for the first time in years, I felt free. A month later, I signed the lease on a small studio space for my design business. The kind of future grandma always believed I could build. As for my parents, we haven't spoken since Easter. And honestly, that was the best gift they ever gave me. If you stayed until the end of this story, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more real, shocking betrayal and revenge stories just like this one. Because sometimes the people who try to take everything from you are the ones who accidentally give you your freedom.